You're watching ISO Devotions episode 4, and we're pressing pause on 1 Corinthians 15 and pressing play on the book of Proverbs. Now, some people think Proverbs is just a book full of fortune cookie advice. A little bit like this fortune cookie here. Let's crack it open and see what it has to say. Whoa, there we go. A smile is your personal welcome mat. Well, I think this fortune cookie is trying to get me to smile more. Is that all the book of Proverbs is trying to do? Give us bits of advice like that to have a little bit of a laugh about, maybe to apply some of it, but to take or leave it really? Well, I don't think so, because the book of Proverbs isn't just fortune cookie advice. It's God's wisdom for us living in God's world. And the beginning, the starting point for living wisely, if you like, in God's world is God himself. And that's what we're going to be focusing on today. Have a listen to Proverbs chapter 9, verse 10. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and knowledge of the Holy One is understanding. We're going to think about what the fear of the Lord is in a moment. But what actually is wisdom? If it's not just fortune cookie advice for us, what is wisdom? Well, wisdom is about skill in life. Wisdom looks at the world, observes how it works, and acts accordingly. Let me give you a couple of examples. I have learnt that when I open the freezer door, that I can't stand in front of the door to open it, otherwise it will hit my feet. Therefore, I stand back a little bit and open the door, and I'm able to access anything from in the freezer. That's example number one. Example number two, I have learnt that when I'm cooking and preparing food, that certain foods go well together and certain foods don't. So for example, peas and carrots go well together according to my wisdom and the wisdom of the makers of these canned peas and carrots. And according to my wisdom as well, I have learnt that soy sauce and rice go well together as well. Certain ingredients in cooking and in food preparation go well together, and we use wisdom to determine what they are. That's the second example. There's general patterns to the way that things work, and the book of Proverbs helps us to see what those patterns are and to act accordingly. But of course, there's exceptions to the patterns. Generally speaking, things work a certain way, but sometimes things don't work the way that we expect, and Proverbs isn't naive to that either. Living in the world is a little bit like cricket. When you're a batsman and you're facing the bowler, generally speaking, you know the kind of deliveries that are going to come at you from the bowler, and depending on where they bounce will depend on what shot you might play. So you might play a cut shot, you might play a straight drive to a fuller delivery, and Proverbs helps us to know how to swing the bat through life and the different shots we might need to play. But of course, there's the curveballs, isn't there? You know, in cricket, you might get a delivery that swings late and knocks you over just out of nowhere. Or you might get a ball that doesn't bounce when you expect it to. And so life's a bit like that as well. Even though there's a general pattern to how life works, there's the unexpected as well. But Proverbs is about the general patterns of how life works and how we live knowing those patterns. God's the one who's made the world to work the way that it does. And so that's why it says that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. This is about being submissive to God. This is about treating God as God and us as his creatures. This is about living in awe of him, knowing that we need to come to him with a tender heart and listen to his words. And I'm hoping that as we do that, we'll discover two things from the book of Proverbs. That we'll grow as a community, as a wise community, in the way that we treat each other as friends, in the way we use our words, in how we use money and how we use our time. And I'm also hoping that it will help us get to know Jesus better. Proverbs was written by Solomon. He's known as pretty much the wisest man who's ever lived. But when Jesus comes, the Gospels say that Jesus is wiser than Solomon. One greater than Solomon is here, it says. And so to be truly wise, we need to listen to Jesus. He's the one who has been through everything as a human being like us. Yet he's also the creator of the universe and made the world to work the way that it does. So who are you going to listen to? Are you going to listen to yourself? Or are you going to listen to Jesus, the one who's created everything, the one who's thought everything through, and the one who opens his heart to us? So for this Friday, have a think about who you're listening to and some areas of life that you want to grow in wisdom.